the weather today. Woohoo! Right? What did you guys think?
It's beautiful.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't, we weren't on the road, and wow, it was a little bit different change from what we've been having. Well, a little tip off, by noticing the weather, all of you were being mindful. Wow, all right, big newsflash with that. So who here, what I'm going to be speaking on today is personal and workplace mindfulness. And who here is familiar with the practice of mindfulness or the term mindfulness? Excellent. I've got a little show of hands, some yes and no. Well, my hope today is at the end of my time with you that each of you will have a little bit better understanding of how to bring more of this into your life and maybe have some useful takeaways that will help you to improve your workplace communication, your personal communication, and just to increase your connection. So basically, before we do anything else, we need to define what is mindfulness. Here it is, drum roll please. Mindfulness is nothing more than each one of us being focused, present, and aware of what's going on in the moment that we are in. Everyone right now that is listening to me, you are all being mindful. Maybe you have other stuff going on in your mind that I can't see, but by focusing your senses, you're seeing me, you're hearing me, maybe you're noticing the temperature in the room, you are being mindful. And that's nothing more. So it's not a huge practice that you have to be a special personality type or have to have training or find this magic moment of time. It's just each one of us being present with our five senses, our hearing, taste, touch, sight, smell, our internal dialogue, your thoughts and feelings, that little self-talk wheel, and our physical environment. Noticing the weather today, noticing what maybe the fragrance of the air, noticing maybe the smell of something like fresh brewed hot coffee or your loud sirens. It's kind of noticing all of those things. So that is, in a nutshell, mindfulness is just us being present right now. And then during that little ringer on the phone, okay, we tune into that. Mindfulness, good news, does not involve what just took place in the past or what's going to take place. If you think about it, we really only have the moment. We can't go back, even no matter how much we want to, and tap back in to the past to change, control, or fix. And I can't go and forecast the near future. I want my meeting or my workplace relationships to go perfect. We just have now. And I think it's really interesting, myself included, how many of us spend a lot of time in the recent past or the near future, and we're bypassing the richness of this moment. Each of us connecting really thoughtfully and warmly with each other, sharing relationships and doing networking. So that's kind of a little takeaway. What can we do to really bring ourselves into the moment that we have? Really, this moment. With all that being said, well, if you're like, wow, I didn't really know much about mindfulness and I'm doing just fine. So why does it really matter? Well, here's a really cool thing about mindfulness. Each one of us, we get to choose by being present and mindful if we have an event in our lives that we would consider heavy or less than or a really outstanding event. We get to choose if we want to see it as a learning event, a really good thing, or I've just been dumped on. An example with me this week, got in to start my car that had just been cleared for takeoff at the mechanic. I was ready to leave. I was in Nashville. The car wouldn't start. It was 2:30. I'm thinking, I'm going to get, now what? I was starting to really react negatively, like, why me? My car just got to the mechanic. I didn't need this. I have other things to do. And I started to do that autopilot hamster wheel of everything that was going to be not good. Well, because I have the practice of mindfulness, I paused. I'm like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm not outside. I'm not locked out of my car. It's not freezing cold. I have access. The tow truck is going to come help me. In the big picture of life, I'm fine. What is it that I need to learn from this experience that can help me to help others and help me with myself? So I got to choose in that moment by being mindful that I was starting to react and be negative and change the course of my outlook and my thoughts. Mindfulness also helps us to move from what I call autopilot mode, the mode that we're constantly involved in what I'm going to do next, what I'm going to eat, who I'm going to talk to, my next meeting, my next consult, into, whoa, why don't I just take workplace, what's going on right now. So it helps us to move from reacting to what we think is going to go on to responding. And when we respond, we're regulating our emotions. And again, we get to choose the outcome of seeing things as being negative or heavy to being a learning journey and how can I serve myself and others. So it really matters in helping us to deepen and strengthen our connections at the workplace, with our clients, with our personal life, and really connect and thrive a lot more. Rather than letting life happen to us, we are involving ourselves in the life that we've been given to live. Now, some really cool personal benefits of practicing mindfulness, these are available to everyone, are number one, when we're being present and mindful of what's going on instead of reacting, we get to reduce our daily caseload of stress. So I don't know about you, but I can really tell when I have a lot of stress, it just makes me crazy and I'm reacting. I'm not being able to respond. So stress reduction. When we have that stress reduction, we actually enjoy greater health. Our immune system is not being compromised by heavy, worst case scenario, a negative pounding on all of our hormones and our processes. When we are being mindful, we are able to actually kind of release some symptoms of anxiousness, depression, and we're able to actually improve our mood. Again, we get to choose rather than having life choose for us. It improves the quality of sleep. I need that myself, and it can help improve our ability to manage and navigate weight loss and exercise. Workplace mindfulness, what we bring to our workplace or how we work with others, has a lot of really great benefits as well. Number one, like with personal, we have an overall reduction of stress in the workplace. Well, when we have that undercurrent of stress that's now less, that gives rise to fewer employee sick days, because we know that a lot of stress can really hurt your immune system and cause a whole host of health issues. So a decrease of stress, increase of immune system, then we have greater workplace productivity. From there, wow, we have more creativity because we're not stressed out or sick, we're doing more. And from there, we have a greater sense of workplace communication with our coworkers, supervisors, all of our contacts. We enjoy an overall sense of employee satisfaction and well-being, a workplace that people actually want to go to rather than want to look for the next job. And all of that to be said, we have a greater sense of workplace harmony and unity, where perhaps there was a lot of stress or factions or just that undercurrent. So many incredible benefits of bringing mindfulness into our workplace. So this is all great information. We know that it reduces stress, it can improve mood and focus and creativity. I can enjoy a greater health benefits and I get to choose. Well, now what? I think I want to maybe work on becoming more mindful in my life. Well, the great news about the practice of mindfulness is it's not a one and done. It is a lifestyle practice that's available to each and every one of you here today. You don't have to be a certain personality type. Oh, I can't do it because I'm type A or type D or, I have a certain religion. It is a philosophy and a practice. So it's not associated with religion or gender or culture or demographics. It's simply a lifestyle, and it's one that for me, when I began to slowly learn it, it really changed the trajectory of how I communicate and how I live much more deeply and fully in my life. I didn't go out and slay the dragon and learn it overnight. The first time I was aware of, wow, this can be a really good thing, I didn't go out and just didn't change my life. But little by little over time, I began to notice more and incorporate more ways to be really present and mindful in my relationships, how I taught classes, especially as a life coach. That would be pretty sad that I'm not practicing mindfulness as a life coach when what I do is work with people one-on-one. So step one in incorporating the practice of mindfulness is pretty basic. It came to me this way. I simply paused enough and noticed. Like today, noticing the weather. That's all we need. Moving from that autopilot hamster wheel mode of constantly running and checking those boxes off and pleasing everybody. Just noticing how you're physically feeling, how you're emotionally feeling, what is my environment? Instead of going from point A to point B, getting in your car and not knowing how you got to work, that was a big deal with me. I mean, obviously you don't want to cause a wreck, but you know, you've been so hyper involved on my workplace meeting or my workload or something at home that we weren't even aware. It's like we had an out-of-body experience commuting, or we were so busy trying to navigate everything. You weren't even aware of what I ate. I don't even know what I ate yesterday. Oh, I'm so busy eating in the car. So it's just becoming more aware of maybe when we're eating food. What does my food look like or taste like? Am I eating on the go? Am I eating standing up? Where are my thoughts? Oh, I'm really thinking negatively right now. Oh, do I really need to think that way? Is it really that bad? So I would say, rather than trying to incorporate everything at once, what I did when I became aware of, for instance, in the morning, I was so busy directing traffic at my home with my 4 boys that I didn't care for myself. I just carried my breakfast bar, just dumped it here and there, didn't eat it. And that began to bother me, because how can I take care of everyone else when I'm not mindfully caring for myself? It was like, you catch-22. So I took it upon myself to bring this small little habit of being present with what I was going to eat. Maybe I just did it for a minute, but I took a moment to notice, oh, I'm eating a power bar today, or a banana, or a scrambled egg, whatever. I noticed that I was feeding myself. And I began to bring that habit in every day. I just took my mind there. Whether I was successful or not, I began to bring that little piece in. It took a couple minutes, and then that began to incorporate and move itself into all of my life. How I was engaging with my fitness classes, how I was engaging with my children, or in a conversation. Another big one is for all of us on the workplace. How good are we at communicating? When we're listening to clients, when we're at a meeting, like right now, are we immediately going over our own agenda, our own to-do list? Are we immediately ready to interject what we think is going to be, even when we haven't fully listened? So that's my little takeaway for all of you today. When you go back to your workplace, or if you have one-on-one meetings with clients, or at home, how are you listening? Are you listening with your physical senses, your eyes, your ears, your lips, your heart? Are you distracted by the environment? Are you assuming what you think they're going to say next? Are you ready to interject what you think they need to hear? How about listening from start to finish to really gather all that is and then respond? That's a big way to practice mindfulness in all aspects of your life, personal and workplace. And I hope you guys each received a great takeaway that you can use in your life and help to brighten and improve the lives of others today. Thank you.